The first tool that I like to show plastic surgeons is what we call the conversions ratio. The conversions ratio is a tool built into Genie to keep track of patients through their cycle of care. This is great for running reports for patients who went from initial inquiry to a consultation to a procedure. Now, first, I'm going to show you how you can run this report. To run this report, we click on the Appointments menu, then we click on Conversion Ratios at the bottom. We choose our date range at the top, and we have a variety of filters that we can use to filter down this information a little bit further. Now, what you'll see is at the bottom of the screen in a result of the different filters that we've chosen. So in this hypothetical database, we can see that there were some inquiries. How many of those inquiries converted into a consultation? How many of those consultations converted into a procedure? Next, I'm going to show you how a patient gets added to this conversions ratio report. For each step, I'm going to show you, you only need to enter it into the one part of Genie. So first thing that I do is I open up the demographic record of a patient. And in this demographic record, there is a conversions ratio tab at the top. We first need to add a record on the right-hand side. You establish a first point of contact along with the staff member. How did they hear about you, being the referral source? At any point, you can attach a doctor's consultation. At any point, you can attach a procedure. And you can tick if that procedure has actually been performed. If I go back to my conversions ratio report from the appointments menu, you can see that there's now a brand new entry added to this particular report in the table at the bottom. So remember, you first add your point of contact. Then if the appointment's been booked, you link it. If the consultation's been performed, you link it. If the procedure is then performed, you then link. It is really great for plastic surgeons. This is the #1 tool I like to show plastic surgeons who are using Genie. A useful tool for plastic surgeons using Genie is if you need to look at two images side by side. In plastic surgery, this might be, for instance, to show a before surgery and after surgery photo, so you can do a side-by-side comparison. Maybe there's a suspicious looking lesion that you want to keep track of over time. The compare tool is great for this type of thing. To get to the compare tool, I'm just going to point out I've got the clinical window of a patient here. And in this clinical window, you can see I've got a right arm and I've got a left arm. If we want to compare the right arm to the left arm, for example, we open up the image browser of the patient. We right-click on the first image and we choose compare. So that shows it on the left-hand side. Now on the right-hand side, I choose the image I wish to compare to. Now you can see that there are two images and you can compare side by side. So remember, this is great for procedures performed before and after, maybe tracking how a lesion looks over time, but you might also have your own reasons why you want to compare two images. The next item are procedure templates. These are templates that you should use when you commonly do a procedure. It can automatically bring in the procedure name, item numbers, notes, and other fields, meaning there's less data entry for the same procedure. So to create a procedure template, we first create a brand new procedure. We type in the name of the procedure, for instance, rhinoplasty. A handy tool for those who haven't used it yet, there's an add to menu button here. I'm going to show you what that add to menu does. So if I just close out of the procedure window and I open up that procedure window one more time, you can see on the left-hand side, I just remove my procedure name. Any procedure in the future, I can choose rhinoplasty. Now, there are other things you can add to the procedure template if it's something you commonly do over time. So for instance, you might always put in the same pre-operation and post-operation diagnosis. Maybe you put in the same indication, maybe the same pre-op notes. For instance, I'm going to type in first on list because maybe this one always needs to be first on the list. For procedure, if you always do the same item numbers, you add it to the procedure, just like normal. For a certain procedure, you might also do the same operation notes. So for instance, I've got findings, technique, and post-op here. If I click Save Template and I give this a name, for instance, rhinoplasty, I want to next show you the time-saving part of a procedure template. If I book in a brand new procedure for a patient, and after booking in the brand new procedure, I just click Load Template. Here I can choose my rhinoplasty template. And what this does, this brings in those items I'd identified earlier, being the procedure name, pre-op notes, item numbers, as well as your findings, technique, and post-op. You can see that this will save you a lot of time if you do a certain procedure, and it's always the same item numbers. Maybe some items in the details tabs are always the same, and where you've got most commonly the same finding, technique, and post-op. Just a small call out. If you do a certain procedure and 99% of the information is the same in findings, technique, and post-op, you put in what that 99% is. Any future procedures that you do, you just load the template and you just go into this window and just change whatever it was that was different to the template. So I see this as saving a lot of time for our plastic surgeons using our Genie product.